Hey, what's up, VR fam? Welcome back to another episode of Oculus News, where we deep dive into all things virtual reality. I'm your host, Saber Saver, and today we're talking about the absolute worst VR headset in history. You've probably heard about the top tier headsets that are blowing minds, but what about the ones that just didn't make the cut? Let's dive into the biggest VR flop of all time. Before there was the Quest, the Rift, or even the HTC Vive, there was the Virtual Boy. Yep, we're talking about Nintendo's infamous foray into virtual reality back in 1995. And let me tell you, this thing was far from the groundbreaking success Nintendo hoped it would be. The Virtual Boy was marketed as a revolutionary 3D gaming experience. Nintendo promised virtual reality gaming in the comfort of your home. But what players got was, well, more of a headache-inducing eyesore. Literally. Let's talk design for a second. The Virtual Boy wasn't even a proper headset. It was more of a tabletop disaster. You couldn't strap it to your face like modern VR. Instead, you had to hunch over it. Picture this. A giant red visor that you stare into like you're at an eye doctor's appointment. And it had no head tracking. Immersive? Not quite. In the display? Oh man. The Virtual Boy's graphics were entirely in red and black. That's right. Just two colors. The red LEDs caused major strain on players' eyes, leading to headaches and dizziness after just a few minutes of gameplay. Imagine the advertisements on these nowadays.
See it now in 3D.
The effects of Virtual Boy include discomfort, eye strain, and headaches. If you experience pain longer than 10 seconds, contact a doctor, which it will because it's the Virtual Boy. A VR headset is only as good as its games, right? Well, the Virtual Boy had 22 games total. And they weren't exactly winners. Titles like Mario's Tennis and Red Alarm weren't bad, but they didn't exactly push the boundaries of what players expected from this new virtual reality. Plus, the whole world in shades of red, it felt like more you were stuck inside of a Game Boy screen with worse graphics. Now, don't get me wrong, there were a couple of decent games, but they weren't enough to save the Virtual Boy from its fate. Nintendo pulled the plug on the system within a year of its launch. Yep, it was that bad. So, what went wrong? Well, aside from the uncomfortable design and the headache-inducing graphics, it was a case of bad timing. In 1995, gamers were more interested in console wars. The Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation were just about to dominate the scene. Virtual Boy didn't stand a chance. It was ahead of its time, but in the worst possible way. And let's not forget the price. At launch, the Virtual Boy retailed for $180, which back then was no small chunk of change. For that price, people expected a mind-blowing experience, and the Virtual Boy was nothing but that. $180 in 1995 is $340 today. Despite its many failures, the Virtual Boy holds an important place in VR history. It was Nintendo's bold attempt to push gaming into a new dimension, quite literally. But while it's often ridiculed, it paved the way for some more immersive VR experiences we have today. Sometimes you gotta fail big to learn big, right? So what can we learn from the Virtual Boy? Well, for one, VR needs to be comfortable and immersive and, not painful to use. It also shows us that being the first to market doesn't always mean the best. We owe a lot to the pioneers like Nintendo, who took those brave steps into VR, even if they stumbled along the way. Would you ever give the Virtual Boy a try if you had the chance? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more Oculus news. I'm Saber Saver, and I'll see you in the virtual world, hopefully with fewer headaches than Nintendo's Virtual Boy gave us. Thanks for paving the way, Virtual Boy.